In case you missed it, Sue Bird has been named the managing director of Team USA. In case you missed it, in the past, unlike the men's team, which of course featured one managing director who helped select and lead the charge in selecting the team members, both in the pool and then on the official roster, that of course being Grant Hill for the better part of the last few years. It was previously a committee. It will now be Sue Bird's responsibility, much like it is Grant Hill's responsibility on the men's side. Previous to Grant Hill, it was Jerry Colangelo most famously. It will be her responsibility to making those decisions when it comes to personnel. Mitch, I think this is the right move, not just for the sake of progressive women, men's equal rights, but I also think it's the right move. In light of, perhaps some controversy the last Olympic cycle of, hey, you got too many cooks in the kitchen and maybe one voice is influencing the other as opposed to one person saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Now, the counter argument is, let's say Sue Bird doesn't like somebody. Then that person never has a chance of making the Olympic team. I think what's important about this is I believe Sue's going to come up with a clear criteria. And if you meet the criteria, in the words of Isaiah Thomas, you will make the team, as opposed to being left in this gray area where it's subjective and up to the opinion of a couple and then a collective vote.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Sue is going to have kind of some advisors, some talent evaluators of sorts that she will kind of lean on for some opinions. I'm sure that she'll work pretty closely with whoever the next coach of the national team is, which is where I'm going to hijack this conversation and take
Go
that
for
to.
it. Go.
Because I saw a tweet from Madeline Kenny, who is the women's sports reporter at the New York Post, who was covering this Sue Bird press conference. And there is a tweet that says from Madeline, Sue Bird said there's no specific timeline on choosing a coach for the next year's World Cup in Berlin, which to me implies that Cheryl Reeve will not be the next coach of the national team. If there is not a timeline for picking a new coach, that sort of implies that there will be a new coach, I think. That's what my read on this. And that to me says that she will also not be the coach maybe for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. The other Team USA news that came out recently is that Kara Lawson is going to coach Team USA at the AmeriCup this summer. And I think if you go back to our very first podcast episode with us together, I predicted that Kara Lawson would be the next coach of the U.S. senior national team at the 2028 Olympics. And I think we're on that path, but we'll see. But it would be pretty interesting, to have, you go back to the UConn Tennessee rivalry of the early 2000s, and Kara Lawson and Sue Bird are on the court a lot of times, with each other at the same time. It'd be pretty interesting if those are your two leaders of Team USA kind of going into the 2028 Olympics played here on American soil.
Let me ask you this, especially now with SB Nation and the idea of you covering multiple women's sports, not just basketball. The idea that Emma Hayes, regarded as one of the best female soccer coaches internationally over the past decade, steps in, takes over the United States national team program, and literally within 2 months makes the difficult decision to say, Alex Morgan, sorry, we're done. Like, we're not going to hang on by a thread. And if you want to try out, sure. But even if you make the team, you're not going to play. I am leaning all the way into our young talent. Yes, it may be unfamiliar new faces to our fans. I don't care. I want the best team out there. What does this mean to the old guard, many of whom played with Sue on the senior national team, but also with Sue trying to put the United States in the best position to succeed long term?
Yeah, I think it puts some responsibility on her and maybe empowers her to, whereas you have one person making this decision instead of a committee who's maybe doing some hand wringing and, some, leaning one way or the other, it empowers Sue to kind of make those hard decisions and make the hard choices and say to, some elder players, maybe reaching their late 30s. Like, I don't think we're ever going to have like a Diana Taurasi on Team USA again. I don't think we're ever going to have somebody past the age of 38 playing for Team USA. Like, we have a talent pool now in women's basketball that is deep enough where like the torch has to be handed off at some point. And there are a lot of people making compelling and you could say right arguments about the last Olympic team that Diana Taurasi probably shouldn't have been on that team. Like, she really was not a game changer for that team. I think there was a couple games where she didn't even play or didn't play a whole lot. So it's kind of like, yeah, I think we're at a point now where, you know, you empower somebody to kind of make those hard decisions, to make those hard cuts, to either say it's past your time, or to a younger player, you have to wait your turn. Because we have some players in the prime of their career right now who give us the best chance to win. And, you know, it's, you know, as we saw in that game, that gold medal game last year, where France gave US, you know, a real run for their money. It's no longer, I think, like a, you know, 100% guarantee that the US is going to go into every Olympics and just roll over the competition. You know, there are countries that are kind of catching up a little bit and developing really good talent. So, yeah, I think this is the right step in the right direction for Team USA.
Two names. I don't want to single them out, but I'm just curious. Brittany Griner, currently 34. Chelsea Gray, 32. Is that an example of a player who in 3 years' time, maybe Sue Bird has to have a difficult conversation?
Yeah, I mean, Brittany Griner, so you'll be 37 by the time the Olympics roll around. I think that's somebody who you have to say, thank you. We appreciate everything you've done, but now it's Aaliyah Boston's time. Now it's Cameron Brink's time.
Cameron Brink. Thank you. There was another name I was thinking, another name who's made it clear she's going to be at the Olympics in 2028, whether she's on the United States roster or not. That is, of course, one Angel Reese. We don't know if she'll be in the stands or if she'll be on the roster, but yeah, hey, listen, Aaliyah has done
TBD.
her time. Cam Brink has been as vital, as integral a member of the 3x3 United States national team pool since she was 18, 19 years old, if not younger. So yes, those would be two names that, so long as Cam comes back from that ACL tear, which we fully expect her to this summer. Yeah. Probably.
And Chelsea Gray as well. I mean, she might be at a point where, you know, I mean, we have, look, all these really good guards coming up. Like Caitlin's going to need a spot on that team. Paige Beckers is going to need a spot on that team. Will AZ Fudd be ready for a spot on that team? I don't know.
Juju Watkins.
Will Juju Watkins be ready for a spot on that team? Maybe. Like there's a lot of competition and really good players coming up, and like comes a point in time where like it's time for you to move on.